Yo, what is going on, guys? We're here with another video, back today with the top 5 small forwards in this year's NBA draft class. So right before we begin, I just want you guys to stay to the end of the video. That's literally it. If you guys have a comment or an opinion, just leave it down below in the comment section. And if you do enjoy this, hit the like button. So let's hop in the top 5 small forwards in this year's NBA draft in our year 2020. So we're going to start this off with number 5, the man out of FSU, Florida State University, standing at 6'5", 175 pounds. He just finished his sophomore year, Devin Vassell. He's a great shooter. Great from downtown, and he's an adequate scorer off the dribble. He excels at scoring on off-ball motion plays. He's a really good playmaker. He's a good rebounder for his size, and he's a great defender that can get steals and blocks and really is really attentive on defense, and he's a solid athlete and has a great motor. Though if we're going to talk about his problems, he does struggle to constantly create his own shot. He can struggle to score in traffic. He can be a little passive on offense and just pass the ball to an open teammate and kind of let his team do the work on offense and just not stand around, but not take the best shots, just think he's just supposed to be a shooter, like a spot up shooter. And sometimes he gambles too much defensively, like he tries to bite on getting a pass interception and he kind of oversteps it. And he didn't see a lot of playing time. I mean, it was a deep FSU team. You'd like to see him more, but he does have everything there. Like, Vassell's athleticism combined with his ability to shoot and defend could enable him to go mid-first round in the 2020 NBA draft. It's really up to where teams see him. Now, if we hop to 4, it's going to be Aaron Nesmith. Nesmith out of Vanderbilt, just finished his sophomore season. A little bit bigger than Devin Vassell, standing at 6'6", 215 pounds. Very similar. If they're literally going to probably go back to back, like wherever Devin Vassell's getting drafted, Aaron Nesmith probably going to get drafted because, again, great shooter, great from three-point range. He can score off the dribble. He can score on off-ball motion plays. He's a good playmaker for his position. He does move really well off-ball, unlike Devin Vassell's. He's always cutting Aaron Nesmith. That's why I think Aaron Nesmith will be drafted before him. He's a very good cutter. He's very good at getting open. Again, really good rebounder for his position and his size, and he's a solid athlete. Though he doesn't score really well inside, and I don't expect him to, but for a small forward, you'd hope he was willing to get in there. And he does sometimes seem like he has brain farts on defense, which leads him to being more foul prone. And he's not that he's injury prone, but he did miss some time due to injury. So it's nothing against him. So he's a sharpshooter that can really put up points, and he could be a good pick for an NBA team in the mid to late first round range in the 2020 draft. But though he just can flat out shoot, he's not. I think Devin Vassell's the better defender. Aaron Smith is the better offense. So if you had to do them, Devin Vassell is a 76 on offense and a 78 on defense, while Aaron Smith is a 78 on offense and a 76 on defense. So if you want more defense, you get Devin Vassell. You want more offense, you get Aaron Smith. So let's talk about the third guy, Isaac Okoro, 6'6", 220. He's more of a shooting guard, small forward, but I do see him being more that was my dog. You might have heard her this whole time. So he's more like Andre Iguodala. Reminds me a lot, just this solid scorer off the dribble. He's great off ball motion plays. He will drive into the lane all the time. He will be drawing fouls all the time. A lot of his points will be scoring through foul shots, which is great. And he's a good playmaker for his size and his position, and he's a really good rebounder and defender. He's a great defender, don't get me wrong. Best skill. He's a better defender than he is on offense. When you're drafting Isaac Okoro, you're getting one of, if not the best defender in the whole draft, okay? He's a great rebounder for 6'6". He's a great defender, and he is insane at shot blocking for being only 6'6", and he is a freak athlete. Though, he does need to improve his shooting. For a guy who gets to the free throw line a lot, he really needs to improve his free throw shooting. Though, with that being said, my dog was just acting up, so I'm sorry about that. Now, we're talking about Isaac Okoro. look, yeah, like I said, he needs to become a better free throw shooter, a better shooter in general, because he has a lot of open shots, but he's really reluctant on them. He can be too passive on offense because he doesn't trust his game, and he's very turnover prone when he does try to do stuff because he's not confident in his game. And sometimes he does seem he has brain farts on defense, but again, he is the best defender in this draft. As right now, he will need to improve on his jump shot, but Okoro is an interesting prospect that could be a high upside sort of player, as he projects to be a likely top 10 pick in this year's draft. Now, a lot of people are going to hate me. Why do you have Obi Toppin in the small forward category? He's a power forward. I see him like Kyle Kuzma. You would never say Kyle Kuzma is a true power forward, because maybe a few years ago he would have been drafted as a small forward, like Josh Smith type role, even though Josh Smith is terrible. Obi Toppin is in Kyle Kuzma role, 6'9", 220, okay? Coming out, a little older. He's really good at a low post scorer. He's great at shooting. He has stretch big potential, so you could see him in the small forward, power forward position. Yeah, he'll probably be put at the power forward position, but I do see him as some teams could utilize him as a small forward, as he's a decent scorer off the dribble. He's at scores great on the move as a slasher, as a cutter, very efficient scorer, has a high efficiency rate at scoring, has great hands catching balls everywhere. He's a really good playmaker. That's why I think he could be a good small forward. Some teams could use him like a point forward almost. He's a great defender. He can guard pretty much 1 through 5, depending on how big the center is. He has an incredible motor. He's a great athlete for his size. Though, yes, he can be reluctant on jumpers, even though he'd rather take it and drive into the rim. He needs to develop a jumper, and that's why I do see him being more of a power forward. But if he gets just small forward, I think he could take more jumpers. And yes, he's not the best ball handler, and yes, he needs to improve on rebounding if he is going to be a power forward. That's why I think he should be a small forward. And he doesn't get enough steals or blocks, but if you put him in the small forward position, I feel like he'll fit there better. And he's not quick enough to guard like the obviously 1s and 2s, but he can do it if they're slower ones. So all in all, overall, Toppin is very skilled for a player that could be one of the best players in the 2020 draft. But though currently he's projected to be a top 5, maybe a top 10 pick, as he may be one of the safest bets to succeed amongst all these players in this questionable draft class. And finally, Deni Avdija, 6'8", 210, out of Israel. He's great at scoring off the dribble. He's a great shooter, excels at scoring on off-ball motion plays, a very good playmaker, great playmaker, great best small forward passer in this draft. One of the best passers in this draft. Great rebounder for a small forward position. He's a decent defensive player. He's got a good shot blocking skills for his size. He's like an okay athlete. I'm never going to say that's a pro. He's a smart player that has good feel for the game, and a versatile player that can make multiple plays at different positions. He can play the 2, 3, or the 4 if needed. Problems: he's an average athlete, barely an above average athlete. Inconsistent shooter, needs to improve his free throw shooting. He kind of has a slow release, a fairly slow release, and he lacks an elite first step off the dribble. And he can be undisciplined defensively. He really needs to get better there. So, look, he's a very talented prospect whose skills will allow him to thrive in the NBA. And Avdija could end up being a top 5 pick, depending on how his draft process goes. He's definitely going to be a top 5 pick. I don't think he's going to slip out of the 5th pick. I don't think he's going to be as good as Luka Doncic, but I think he could be. I don't know if he'll ever be like a perennial All-NBA, but I think he could make a few All-Star teams. But yeah, that was really the video. I'd like to hear your guys' opinions down below. But as always, guys, I hope you guys have a great day, because I know I will. Till next, guys.